Welcome to this week's edition of Stock Breakthroughs. I'm your host, Erin Beal. Well, one of Wall Street's favorite summertime topics is always oil, and this year is no exception. Though prices at the pump have started to cool off after the early summer spike, investors around the globe are still speculating about oil. Joining us today to weigh in on the great oil discussion is Andrew Mickey, editor of Breakaway Investor. Thanks for joining us, Andrew.
Thanks for having me, Erin.
So, Andrew, tell us, where are oil prices going over the near term? Are you a summer oil bull, or are we ready to sell off here?
Well, Erin, as it stands right now, oil prices could realistically hit as high as $73 or $74 a barrel this summer. It all really depends on how hot it gets here in the U.S. and how bad the hurricane season is. Barring any unusual circumstances, $75 oil is completely out of the question. And this will be the last great summer for oil. As most of you know, all my research points to the end of the oil cycle really starting to hit the energy markets in 2008. And then it's nowhere but down for oil prices from there. Don't worry about gasoline prices either. They may be grabbing the headlines, but there isn't much of a correlation between the two right now.
Interesting. So, Andrew, if this truly is the last great summer for oil, as you're suggesting, which are there oil companies which should be piling into while we can?
Absolutely, but I'm not advising that you stock up on the obvious big names like Exxon. Rather, it is the oil exploration and drilling companies that we should be looking at. Known oil reserves across the globe are declining at an alarming rate. Big oil companies are scrambling to find a solution to the problem, as well as a safety net for their entire industry. The oil exploration and production industry is growing like wildfire. Conservative estimates call for it to transform from a $7 billion niche sector into as much as a $24 billion powerhouse by 2010.
But can you be more specific? What kind of drilling are we talking about?
Actually, what I'm interested in right now is deep-sea oil drilling, which is still below the mainstream radar. You see, thousands of feet below the ocean's floor, one of the largest oil reserves in the world has been discovered, and its contents hold the potential to push the current global oil crisis 50 years into the future. It's estimated that as much as 1.3 trillion barrels of oil are buried off the coasts of India, China, and Africa, as well as the British North Sea. Xavier Priel, the head of France's largest oil company, Total SA, reported recently that deep-sea oil deposits have accounted for 30% of the total oil reserves discovered in the past decade, and that the crude being taken from these deposits represents a growing proportion of the world's oil production. Billions of barrels have already been pulled from the sea around the world, but these new reserves have the potential to top all of them in production. Estimates by some experts are that these reserves could hold up to 1.3 trillion barrels of oil.
Well, that certainly is impressive. But Andrew, I imagine that drilling that deep into the sea is risky and pretty expensive, true?
Well, Erin, since the 1960s, oil companies have spent hundreds of millions of dollars on deep sea exploration, and now 1.3 trillion secret barrels of oil have been located off the coasts of India, China, and Africa, and in the British North Sea. However, it just wasn't cost-effective to go down and get the oil. That's until this company's technological innovations made it cheaper, faster, and safer to tap this underwater oil reserve that equals the size of the Persian Gulf.
Oh, Andrew, can I interrupt for a moment and ask which company it is that we're talking about? Is it publicly traded?
Of course. The company I'm referring to is Acergy, ticker ACGY on the NASDAQ. It currently trades for around $20. See, by designing a revolutionary new type of riser tower that actually controls the climate temperature inside the lines and keeps it above the levels required to avoid wax buildup, Acergy is saving thousands of barrels of oil from getting stuck inside retrieval lines and potentially becoming useless. These new insulated towers are easier and cheaper to build and transport than older models and are set to become the new standard for oil companies looking to avoid costly production delays and accidents on the rigs. Obstacles such as these are what have allowed the 1.3 trillion barrels of oil to stay buried beneath the ocean for so many years, and also why this company is getting so crucial to getting it out of underneath the ocean's floor. Thanks to their revolutionary drilling technology, this largely unheard of British company is the only one that can assist the oil companies with digging deep enough to reach the hidden reserves and extract it safely.
So besides all this deep-sea oil potential that this company has going for it, does Acergy have its fundamentals in good shape? You know, what does the company look like from a shareholder's perspective?
Well, Erin, it's rare the fundamentals look this good. Acergy, with annual sales of $2.1 billion, already has an order backlog of $3 billion. In fact, it has orders booked all the way out to 2011. Its key customers, which include Exxon, BP, Chevron, and all the other oil majors, are lining up at the door waiting for their turn. And Acergy is still charging as much as it wants for its services. We can see that in the expanding operating margins of the company. There's just no one else to turn to. Acergy, along with its competitors, Oceaneering International, ticker OII, Technip, ticker TKP, and Subsea 7, which is private, are all facing similar levels of demand. And together they control about 85% of the total offshore seabed-to-surface market. On top of that, Acergy is aggressively buying back shares. Over the past few months, it has been slowly retiring shares with a goal of buying back more than 10% of all its outstanding shares. How can you go wrong? With all this going on, it's no wonder breakaway investors are already at 42% on this play in the past year and expecting even more.
Wow, that is impressive, Andrew. So is Acergy your number one pick for the summer, or are there other exciting oil companies you're looking at?
Actually, there is another company involved with groundbreaking oil exploration. Like Acergy, this company also has a new technology which is truly on the verge of revolutionizing the entire industry. That's this patented technology isn't just going to locate more barrels of precious oil for the big petro players around the world. This technology has the potential to reset the entire oil industry, erasing everything we thought we knew about where oil is in the ground, the amount of it there is, and how much it's going to cost. And the trickle-down effect will be fast and furious. The last time technology of this magnitude was introduced to the industry in the late 1970s, the impact on consumers was incredible. The price of oil plummeted from an inflation-adjusted $80 per barrel in 1979 all the way down to an inflation-adjusted $20 by 1985.
Well, you mentioned that this is a patented technology. So does that mean that one company has exclusive rights to it?
Well, Aaron, this Texas exploration company has their hands on quite possibly the most historic piece of technology ever to hit the oil industry. This is the number one oil play a smart investor can make for the next 10 years. And I'm conservatively predicting a 942% gain on the price of the stock by September 2009. Notice I said conservatively. That's because the potential impact this technology could have on the world's oil supply is so massive that I wouldn't be surprised to see this small Texas company produce quadruple-digit gains for its shareholders.
Wow. Well, I'd love to hear more about this company, Andrew, but unfortunately we're running out of time for today. So how can our viewers learn more about this company?
Well, anyone interested in learning about this company can visit www.breakawayinvestor.com to become a member and find out about all the exciting companies I'm currently recommending.
Great. Well, thanks for joining us today, Andrew. And thank you for watching Stock Breakthroughs. I'm your host, Erin Beal, and I'll see you back here next week.